හරිම සුමුදුයි.
Tonight on First at 9 this Sunday the 24th of December 2023. Christmas Eve. Sri Lankans island-wide join hands with the world and prepare to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Neighbourhood first. Former Indian State Minister of External Affairs says that Sri Lanka should consider the safety of India when making policy decisions. Bridging the gap. Progress in addressing Sri Lanka's medicine shortage, says Secretary to the Ministry of Health. Tax improvements. Need to set up institutions to address inefficiencies in taxation, says tax expert.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
නියම මෝල්ට් සාරය සමග මැලිබන් මෝල්ට් දැන් රුපියල් 750ක් පමණයි.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to AdaDerana First at 9. I'm Aditya Dirasinghe joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Now with less than 24 hours remaining till Christmas, Sri Lankans island-wide are preparing to celebrate the graceful birth of Jesus Christ. Several locations around Colombo are lit up with eye-catching decorations celebrating the spirit of Christmas. Now let's hear from AdaDerana 24's Tatya Aranayaka, who surveyed the streets of Colombo illuminated to celebrate this Christmas.
As the chills of Christmas enchant the atmosphere around us, homes and streets come alive with a symphony of lights and colors. Celebrating the warmth, love, and joy the season brings with it, families around the world embark on the timeless tradition of adorning their homes with festive embellishments, transforming humble abodes into beacons of joy. Each Christmas decoration has a story to tell, a legend that stood the test of time. The twinkling candles light up the night and narrate the epic of Jesus Christ and how he lit up the whole world. Bells ward off evil spirits and bring about the joy and happiness of the season. The centerpiece of Christmas decorations, the iconic Christmas tree, stands tall and proud, a symbol of hope and renewal. It reminds us of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Further, the tree's branches and shrubs are viewed as an emblem of immortality and are said to symbolize the crown of thorns worn by Christ on the cross. Christmas is an opportunity to take a deep breath and appreciate the love, hope, and joy found in Jesus. This celebration unites everyone. This year, Sri Lankans are celebrating their first Christmas as the country progresses towards economic recovery with the support of the International Monetary Fund. However, the public, having gone through a few painful years, remains cheerful this festive season. This is Sri Lanka's first Christmas in the economic recovery phase after a crisis that pushed Sri Lanka to rock bottom. The streets are lit up, houses decorated, and Christmas trees put up to celebrate the season with grandeur. Speaking of festivities, the grand inauguration of the festive initiatives in Sri Lanka took place recently on the 17th of December at the Golf-Face premises, symbolizing the future of Sri Lanka's tourism industry. With the winter season upon many nations across the world, Sri Lanka's tourism industry has seen a significant uptick as the season's greetings also add to the list of reasons to visit Sri Lanka. According to statistics released by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, the number of tourist arrivals this December from the 1st to the 21st add up to 128,047. December last year recorded 91,961 arrivals, whereas 89,506 tourist arrivals were recorded in 2021 December. SLTDA statistics depict a gradual increase in the number of tourist arrivals in December every year, thereby showing a significant growth in the tourism industry of Sri Lanka. It is seen that Sri Lanka is also making an effort towards attracting more tourists to the country through festivities organized all over Colombo. The streets of Colombo have transformed into scenes from a storybook, with Christmas trees around every corner. Taking center stage, however, were the decorations put up in key public attractions in Colombo, such as the One Gore Face Shopping Mall, the Colombo City Centre, the Havelock City Mall, and hotels such as Hilton Colombo, the Kingsbury, Shangri-La, and Taj Samudra. Christmas decorations are much more than mere decorations. They are tangible expressions of love, tradition, and the universal desire for warmth and connection. To find out more about what the celebration means to them, we spoke to the people of Sri Lanka.
Think about this year's Christmas decorations.
Good.
Do you like them?
Yes.
All decoration is lighting and this is good and I am enjoying well much.
So do you think this year's Christmas is better than the previous year's Christmas?
Yes.
Being an Indian, how are you enjoying Sri Lanka so far?
Sri Lanka is good, the experience is good.
I think this time Christmas better than the last time. We are enjoying now.
This year Christmas is extremely grand. I think we are celebrating Christmas after like 2 bad years. But I think this is a project that is powered by Sri Lanka Tourism to give some festive feeling to the country. Because as you know, Sri Lanka is a destination where people can come 365 days. So in that sense, but we want to make families to come during Christmas and we will continue this for a few more years to come as well.
As the world outside glistens with the magic of the season, these festivities become the stitches that weave communities together, creating a tapestry of shared joy and camaraderie. We hope the magic of this season will fill Sri Lanka with warmth, joy, prosperity, and healing.
Ignited with positive hope and the spirit of Christmas, Sri Lankans await to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ tomorrow as the country currently progresses amidst an economic recovery. Several areas of the country, including Colombo, have been crowded with people from every strata of society as everyone joins to celebrate this Christmas with much enthusiasm. Here is a report by AdaDerana 24 on celebrating Christmas this year off the back of the country's worst economic crisis post-independence. Christmas is a festival full of culture and tradition celebrated by everyone across the world despite race and religion to mark the birth of Jesus Christ. The true spirit of Christmas is sharing, caring, and endurance. In the words of Jesus Christ, people should share happiness and peace, care for one another, and endure like Mother Mary. Santa Claus, a joyful and iconic figure who never misses Christmas, symbolizes the need to share and care with one another. Christmas today necessitates extensive planning, which includes shopping for food, decorations, and gifts for our loved ones. Celebrating that reality, crowded streets were packed with potential customers as observed in parts of Colombo, including in the Peta market and in the suburban cities of the country. Roadsides were filled with stalls selling clothes, gifts, celebratory food and beverages, and Christmas decorations. Meanwhile, shops and hotels were decked out with vibrant lights and decorations. Delicious food stalls, fun Christmas activities, and carols have been organized since the beginning of this month to bring out the festive spirit of Christmas. Several shopping festivals are also currently in place with exclusive offers available and plenty of entertainment. With so much buying happening this festive season, some may wonder if the country could run out of goods, especially essentials. During the chaotic previous years behind us, where the celebration of Christmas was hampered due to the Easter Sunday attack, the COVID-19 pandemic, and Sri Lanka's economic meltdown, the cost of living rose to an unbearable level while inflation was rampant. However, amidst the high cost of living and persistent upward inflationary pressure in the country, people, including the families who could not celebrate Christmas last year, have joined to celebrate this Christmas with so much excitement. We visited the busy streets of Peta Market and parts of Colombo to see how people are preparing themselves to celebrate a proper Christmas in a long time. On the crowded streets of Peta, we spoke with several vendors as well as customers on Christmas Eve.
ඒ පරිදි වරදක් නැහැ සාමාන්‍ය ඉතින් හොඳයි ආර්ථික ප්‍රශ්නත් එක්ක මිනිසුන්ට ඉතින් ගොඩක් අමාරුයි ගොඩක් මෙන්න ඉතින් මිනිස්සු සෑහෙන අඩුවට ගන්න බලන් තමයි එන්නේ ඉස්සර වගේ නෙමෙයි සල්ලි නැහැ නේ ජනතාව අතේ දැන් එතකොට ගිය අවුරුද්දට සාපේක්ෂව මේ අවුරුද්දේ මිල ගණන් වැඩි වෙලා නේද ඔව් මිල ගණන් සෑහෙන වැඩි ඇති ඒ වුණත් ඉතින් මේ මං හිතන්නේ ගිය අවුරුද්දට මේ අවුරුද්දේ ගොඩක්ම නත්තල් සම්මරනවා පේනවා මොකද අපේ බඩු මුට්ටු සෑහෙන ප්‍රමාණයක් අපිට අලි වෙනවා
බිස්නස් නම් තියෙනවා මේ පාර නම් ජයයි සරුයි මිනිස්සු ගාව සල්ලි තියෙනවා වගේ මට පේන විදියට ඒ කියන්නේ බඩු නම් අපේ ඉවර වෙනවා
දැන් එතකොට ගිය අවුරුද්දට සාපේක්ෂව මිල ගණන් වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ අයිටම්
නෑ මේ පාර ගාන අඩුයි ගිය පාර ටිකක් වැඩි මිල ටිකක් වැඩි වුණා මේ පාර ගාන අඩුයි ඒ නිසා වෙන්න ඇති මිනිස්සු වැඩියෙන්ම ඇවිල්ලා ගන්න අපෙන්.
However, some had a different perspective.
ගිය අවුරුදු දැන් අවුරුදු 4ක්ම අපිට ඉම්පෝර්ට්ස් මොකුත් නැහැ. එතකොට මේ අවුරුදු තමයි ඉම්පෝර්ට් ආවේ මේ සහනක් දුන්නා. හැබැයි අවුරුදු 4ට පස්සේ ආවේ මේ කස්ටමර්ස්ලා කියන්නේ සෑහෙන අඩුයි. බිස්නස් එකත් සෑහෙන අඩුයි. ගණන් සෑහෙන වැඩි. මොකද ටැක්සස් ඔක්කොම වැඩි. එතකොට මේ 115ක් දැන් 118ක් වෙන්න යනවා. එතන ඉස්සරහට මොකුත් කරගන්න බැරි වෙයි. බොහෝ දුරට. මහ ජනතාව අතේ මේ සල්ලි මොකුත් නැහැ.
This reflects that the retail sector has not entirely improved since the economic downturn, while costs too have continued to rise. As per the data issued by the Department of Census and Statistics, the headline inflation in November 2023 as measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index increased to 3.4 last month from 1.5% in October this year. Additionally, the monthly change of the CCPI was recorded at 1.06% in November 2023 due to price increases observed in items in both food and non-food categories.
Some vendors say that the costs are too expensive to provide at reasonable rates. Shoppers too are wary of the high prices around this time in the season. However, despite these expensive costs, we can see many shopping ahead of Christmas to celebrate the festival with much enthusiasm.
As opposed to the turbulent years before when Sri Lanka underwent unprecedented hardships as a result of the economic crisis, this festive season so far remains filled with joy and excitement.
නත්තල් ඉතින් ජයයි මට ඉතාලම කරදරයිනේ සෑම දෙයක්ම බඩු වැඩිනේ ඒත් සමරනවා නත්තල සෑම අවුරුද්දෙම සමරනවානේ සමරනවා ගිය අවුරුද්දට වඩා ටිකක් වැඩි හැමදේම.
With tragic memories of the events that transpired from 2019 to 2022 behind us, including the dull memories when people commemorated the birth of Christ with grief, this Christmas has ignited hope and elevated the spirit of Christmas.
Let me take you on a trip to the land of spices where the culture never did. Yeah.
Now, in view of the Christmas festivities and religious services tomorrow, the Sri Lanka police announced that special police security will be in place in churches and other religious places throughout the day tomorrow. Speaking further in this regard, police media spokesman SSP Nihal Talduwa added that priests can contact police headquarters on note 112-472757 for any assistance regarding security. Meanwhile, the main midnight mass of Sri Lanka, led by Archbishop of Colombo Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, is scheduled to be held at 11:45 p.m. tonight at the St. Francis Xavier's Church in Halpe. Now, in other news, the former Minister of State of the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, M.J. Akbar, says India expects Sri Lanka and the independent countries in the region to consider the safety of the neighbouring countries when arriving at policy decisions. The former Indian State Minister made these remarks while observing the expansion of India's reach beyond what is known to be its conventional neighbourhood. Speaking at a webinar organised by the Pathfinder Foundation, former Minister Akbar said the neighbourhood first policy of India is based on the mutual understanding between the nations in the neighbourhood.
On the political side, despite seemingly close relations, does the Indian political hierarchy believe that our bilateral relationship is on a firm footing? Or, in the alternative, is there a feeling that the relationship suffers from a deficit of trust? Or, to put it in a different way, that India is being taken advantage of by Sri Lanka?
It should be very clear that India is neither weak nor is it naive. So India cannot be taken advantage of. That really is out of the two. I think that is best kept out of the discourse. India takes a mature view of its policy options as far as the neighborhood, and I think among our neighbors, Sri Lanka is one of our more valued partners. We follow the policy very clearly identified, laid down by Prime Minister Modi, which is neighborhood first. This is not based on, believe me, on charity. This is based on a very clear understanding that a neighbor's health is very necessary component of our health. With Sri Lanka, it is quite a history of some turbulence. We have always never lost our reach with each other. In terms of reach, I think our neighborhood now extends, the arc of neighborhood now extends from the Gulf right up to Indonesia, in which South Asia obviously is a very central component of this region. This arc of neighborhood is built on mutual benefit. We understand that Sri Lanka is an independent country. country will have its independent views. But the independence of views necessarily includes, just as we reach out to Sri Lanka when Sri Lanka is in a crisis, we expect that Sri Lanka will equally understand as a friend and as a brother that our perceptions of security should be part of the understanding with which Sri Lanka takes its own decisions.
Now, meanwhile, 3 persons who had been engaged in trafficking Sri Lankans to Myanmar were identified through investigations carried out by the Human Trafficking, Human Smuggling and Maritime Crimes Division of the Criminal Investigation Department. Meanwhile, 3 of the 5 individuals who escaped from the terrorist camp in Myanmar and returned to Sri Lanka gave a statement to the Criminal Investigation Department today. It was recently reported that 56 Sri Lankans are forcibly being detained in a Burmese terrorist camp and put to work as cyber slaves. 3 of the 5 individuals who escaped from the camp and returned to Sri Lanka gave a statement to the Criminal Investigation Department today. The escapees, 4 young men and a young woman, who landed in Myanmar in April 2023 expecting to pursue a career as data entry operators, returned to Sri Lanka on the 4th of November 2023 following their escape.
ලංකාවේ 5 දෙනෙක් මගෙත් එක්ක ගියා. මං එහෙට යද්දි තව ලංකාවේ දෙන්නෙක් හිටියා. ඇලවල් වල මේ බෝට් වලින් එක්කන් ගිහලා තමයි අපි එක්කන් ගියේ කඳවුරු වලට. ගොඩක් කට්ටියකින් ගහලා මරවල වැඩ ගන්න. ඇත්තට කිව්වොත් ඒක ගැන කතා කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ. ඒ ගැන කියලා වැඩක් නැහැ. දවසට පැය 20ක් 19ක් විතර අපි වැඩ කරනවා. අනිවාර්යෙන් කස්ටමර්ස්ලා අපි හොයන්න ඕන. අපිට උදේ 6 වෙද්දි එක කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් නැති වුණොත් අපිට ඒක බිත්තරය කන්න දෙන්නේ. අපිට දවල් 12 වෙද්දි කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් හොයගන්න බැලුවොත් ඒ බිත්තර දෙක වතුර එහෙම මුකුත් බොන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒවා ලංකාවට ආවේ එයාලා අපි ටච් ලික් කියලා තැනකට අපි විකුණන්න හැදුවා. අහන දාලෙද්දි අපි එයාලට ගහලා අපි පැනගත්තු බේරගන්න ආවා. ඇමරිකාවේ මැඩම්ලා දෙන්නෙක් හතුකුරුස සංවිධානයේ මේ පිටිපස්ස ඉන්න ශශි ප්‍රභාත් ඒ දෙන්නට වහම නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන ලෙස මං ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඔයාලගේ.
In the meantime, investigations into the trafficking of Sri Lankans to Myanmar are currently being carried out by the CID's Human Trafficking, Human Smuggling and Maritime Crimes Division under the directives of its director, Senior Superintendent of the Police, Samarkon Banda. Further, it was revealed that 3 brokers residing in Aralagangwila, Vaturegama and Doratiava were involved in the trafficking of Sri Lankans to Myanmar. It was also revealed that the aforementioned trio had fled the areas. Now, as narcotics spread island-wide at a rather alarming rate, Minister of Justice Vijaydas Rajapaksa says that the government plans to bring in more regulations in 2024 to safeguard the youth from such harmful substances. Revealing the government's plan for 2024, Minister Rajapaksa says the Ministry of Justice also expects to bring in rules and regulations to make the nation's financial infrastructure more transparent in order to avoid making decisions harmful for the country's economic growth. Now let's hear more on this from Minister Vijaydas Rajapaksa himself on our segment 2024 and Beyond.
We'll have to make some safeguards for the protection of the people of the village and the village itself, whereas that there are many more threats on our youngsters due to this the drug addiction and various other vices in our society, and we'll have to wipe out that culture and we'll have to go for a new change. At the same time that we'll have to ensure that the economy will have to grow up smoothly by avoiding any imprudent decisions which resulted in the collapse of our economy during the last few governments. And now we have passed the laws related to the financial transparency. Especially a new bill was passed in the parliament that is just to make the central bank totally an independent institution, whereas even the government cannot dictate, and now as it was earlier, to print money just to find that temporary solution for our economic issues.
Now, meanwhile, Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Palitha Mahipala, says that there is progress in making adequate stocks of medicine available in hospitals island-wide. Speaking at a press briefing today, Dr. Mahipala says the availability of medicines in hospitals around the country has shown progress according to a review done by the Ministry of Health during the 2nd and 3rd weeks of December.
සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ අරමුණ සහ අභිලාෂය තමයි ඉතාමත්ම හොඳ ගුණාත්මක සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාවක් අපේ රටේ ජනතාවට ලබා දීම. පසුගිය කාලය තුල යම් යම් බාධක ගැටලු රාශියක් තිබුණා ඖෂධ සැපීම පිළිබඳව. ඖෂධ ඉතාමත්ම අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි රෝගීන්ට ප්‍රතිකාර කිරීමේදී. ඒ නිසා සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ විවිධ කමිටු පත් කරමින් මේ පිළිබඳ සමාලෝචනයක් කරමින් ඖෂධ ගෙන්වීම, බෙදා හැරීම ආදී කරුණු පිළිබඳව වැඩි අවධානයක් සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශය යොමු කරනු ලැබුවා. පසුගිය සති දෙකක පමණ කාලය තුල අපි විවිධ රෝහල් වල කරන ලද විමර්ශනවලදී දැක් කාරණේ තමයි යම් ප්‍රගතියක් මෙහිදී තිබෙන බව. විශේෂයෙන්ම මාතර රෝහල්, කඹුරුගමුව රෝහල, ඒ වගේම පේරාදෙණිය රෝහල, ඒ වගේම මහනුවර සහ රාගම ආදී රෝහල් වල, ළමා රෝහලේ අපි විවිධ අවස්ථාවල ලැබෙන ඖෂධ ප්‍රමාණය, තිබෙන ඖෂධ ප්‍රමාණය, ඖෂධ බෙදා හැරීම ආදී කටයුතු පිළිබඳව ඉතාමත්ම කිට්ටුවෙන් සමීක්ෂණයක්, අධීක්ෂණයක් කරනු ලැබුවා. එදී අපි දැක්ක කාරණේ තමයි යම් ප්‍රගතියක් මේ රෝහල් වල ඇති වී තිබෙන බව. ඉතින් යම් ඖෂධ වල හිඟයක් තිබෙනවා. ඒ ඖෂධ ඒ ප්‍රදේශයෙන් මිලදී ගැනීම සඳහා අපි අවසරයක් ලබා දීලා තිබෙනවා. ඉතින් තවදුරටත් සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ විදිහට අපි අපේ පුළුවන් තරම් උත්සාහය ගන්නේ මේ ජනතාවට ගුණාත්මක ඖෂධ ලබා දීමට.
Now in the political arena, former President Maithripala Sirisena says that the people can either choose to follow the individuals responsible for the economic crisis or choose the SLFP, which according to the former president will lead the country on the right path. In the meantime, Minister of Justice Vijay Dasarajapaksa highlighted that it is the responsibility of the public to appoint a leader who loves the country and who has the knowledge and ability to rebuild the collapsed economy.
ලයිස්තුවක් පෙන්නලා ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණය ඒගොල්ලන්ට සීල් එකක් ගහලා කිව්වා රටේ ආර්ථික අර්බුදය සහ මිනිස්සු බඩගිනින් ඉන්නේ මෙන්න මේගොල්ල නිසා කියලා. ඒක නිසා ඒගොල්ල පස්සේ යනවාද? එහෙම නැත්නම් රට නිවැරදි ගමන් මාර්ගයකට ගෙන යන ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය වැනි පක්ෂයක් සමග කටයුතු කරනවාද කියන කාරණාව ජනතාවගේ අවධානයට යොමු කරනවා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂණය කවුද?
අපේක්ෂක තෝරන්න ඕන වෙච්ච වෙලාවට තෝරයි විධායක සභාව විසින්.
ඔබතුමාගේ දසක් නැහැ.
ඉතින් මාව තීරුවොත් මම තරඟ කරනවා.
මෙන කාව දාන්නද වෙන මිනිහෙක් ඕක ඉන්නවද මේ අපි සියලු දෙනාම හදවතින් ආදරය කරන චරිතයක් තමයි මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මේ දෙයි හාමුදුරනේ අපි මල් පෙති උඩ තියාගෙන එතුමාගේ සදා සමය අපි එතුමාට ගත කරන්න දෙන්න ඕනි අවස්ථාවක මේ අනිත් මිනිස්සුන්ව ජීවත් කරවීමට මේ මනුස්සයර දෙන වදේ පව් නැද්ද ඇයි අනිත් උන්ට බැරි තමන්ගේ කකුල් දෙන් හිටගන්න මේ මිනිස්සුම විකුණ කරගන්නේ
අවුරුදු 75කට පස්සේ අපේ රටේ ජනතාව සූදානම් වෙලා ඉන්නවා ක්‍රමය වෙනස් කරන පාලනයකට යන්න. ඒ ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී දැනට සියලුම සමීක්ෂණ වාර්තා ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ ජාතික ජනබලවේගයේ මාලිමාවේ අපේක්ෂකයා ජයග්‍රහණය කරනවා කියලා.
තේ කර්මාන්ත ශාලා 90ක් විතර ගිනි තියපු මිනිස්සු තමයි ජීවිපී ගන්න. මේ රටේ පෞද්ගලික විශ්වවිද්‍යාල එපා කියලා අපේ කොල්ලන්ව පාරට වැහැලා උද්ඝෝෂණය කරද්දී අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක පුතා යුරෝපයට ගිහිල්ලා ඉගෙන ගත්තා. ලාංකාන්තක දුව එංගලන්තෙට ගිහිල්ලා ඉගෙන ගත්තා. මෙවැනි දෙවිනි ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් තියන අයද බලයට ගේන්නේ කියලා අපි අහනවා.
රටට ආදරය කර මෙරටේ වැටී තිබෙන ආර්ථිකය ගොඩ ගන්න පුළුවන් බුද්ධියක් තියෙන දර්ශනයක් තියෙන දැක්මක් තියෙන ජාත්‍යන්තරයත් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු කරන්නට පුළුවන් දක්ෂ නායකයෙක් පත් කර ගැනීම ජනතාවට පැවරෙන වගකීමක්. එවැනි නායකයෙක් පත් කර ගැනීමට ජනතාවට තිබෙන අනෙකි අවස්ථාවේදී බුද්ධිමත් තීන්දුවක් ගනී කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Welcome back. Now Sri Lanka has welcomed over 100,000 tourists to the country by the 21st of December, with most tourists arriving from India. The island recorded a total of over 1.4 million tourist arrivals this year as of the 21st of December. A total of 719,978 tourist arrivals were recorded in 2022, whereas in 2021, statistics indicated 194,495 arrivals. Thus, the number has seen a sharp increase this year compared to the previous year, depicting a growth in Sri Lanka's tourism sector. Indian tourists topped the list with the most arrivals in December so far, with 25,990 arrivals. The number represented 20% of the total arrivals in December 2023 so far. The tally of the Russian tourists arriving in Sri Lanka came in second on the list, with 17,922 arrivals, while 13,042 arrivals were recorded from the UK. Substantial numbers of tourist arrivals were also recorded from Germany, China and Australia. Now, with the government deciding to increase taxes from the beginning next year, tax experts are of the view that the government should also focus on setting up institutions to address the inefficiencies in taxation. Speaking to AdaDerana, expert Suresh Pereira said that in 2024, the government should focus on proper tax designing and administration, while also establishing institutes such as the Tax Policy Unit and Tax Ombudsman, as recommended by the IMF.
taxes play a vital role in the Sri Lankan economy at the moment because Sri Lanka is facing an economic crisis, and if Sri Lanka to come out of this situation during the next 10-15 years, tax is going to play a very important role in the Sri Lankan economy. So therefore there should be more focus, more diligence with regard to the designing of the taxes in Sri Lanka. There should be more focus with regard to the tax administration. Now IMF recommends that every country should have a tax policy unit. This is a unit to be established within the finance ministry to assist the finance minister to analyze the impact of the tax reform processes. Now this institution has not been in Sri Lanka right from the beginning. So I would say this is the root cause why Sri Lankan tax system is in this status today. There should be a unit consisting of many subdivisions. One subdivision will be monitoring the indirect tax policies in Sri Lanka. Another division will be focusing on the direct tax policies in Sri Lanka, and another unit focusing on the international tax developments in Sri Lanka. Of course, there will be another unit focusing on the drafting of the tax laws. The policies that are being formulated should be properly drafted using the correct legal language to embed the correct policy intention. And there will be another important division with regard to carrying out revenue forecasting and policy costing divisions. Role of the tax policy unit is to guide the decision making process within the government's broader tax policy framework, in other words to assist the finance minister with regard to the tax reform process in a country. This unit will also keep an tab with regard to the tax developments happening in other parts of the world. Also this unit will carry a neutral voice. So this will result in better analysis with regard to the tax reforms to be introduced. The second institution that Sri Lankan tax fabric needs is the tax ombudsman. This is with regard to the inefficiency with regard to tax administration, and due to the inefficiencies where the taxpayers are facing difficulties, having grievances, and these grievances could be taken to the tax ombudsman. In order to ensure the tax process runs smoothly in Sri Lanka, the role of tax ombudsman is needed right now. This is another focus area the government has to look into, address this issue.
Now, in your corporate developments, Ceylon Bank marked its 6th consecutive year as the official banking partner of the Colombo Motor Show 2023 held recently. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan Airlines has added an Airbus A320 aircraft to its fleet. With that, let's take a look at the corporate news segment for the evening. Ceylon Bank recently marked its 6th consecutive year as the official banking partner of the largest international motor and motor accessories exhibition of the country, Colombo Motor Show 2023. The two-day event, which was held at the Sirimao Bandaranaike Memorial Exhibition Centre from the 17th to the 19th of November, attracted over 60,000 visitors. Further, the bank's presence at the Colombo Motor Show showcased its commitment to driving financial empowerment and accessibility in the automotive sector. Meanwhile, a newly leased Airbus A320 aircraft bearing the serial number 4R-ABS was added to the Sri Lankan Airlines fleet. The aircraft, which had been leased for 6 years, arrived in the country on the 21st of December this year from Malaysia. It will primarily be deployed on the airline's short and medium haul routes covering the Indian subcontinent, the Far East and the Middle East. In other news, the cargo arm of the world's largest international airline, Emirates Sky Cargo, wraps up a major year of growth and investment in both its current and future operations. The airline has also made significant leaps towards its long-term growth plans to double capacity in the next decade and cement its leading position in global air logistics. Now, with only a few hours more till Christmas, let's remind ourselves the value of sharing things with one another as we proceed to live a simpler life. Keeping this in mind, let's take a look into our seasonal segment, A Message of Hope.
God's decisive intervention in the conflicts of human beings in their day-to-day life is what Christmas is all about. The first Christmas story begins in the manger, where Jesus is born, having no room in the inn. And the announcement of the Christmas event, birth of the Messiah, is first proclaimed by the angels to the shepherds. The manger and the shepherds definitely has an economic implications. This symbolizes the poverty of the people and people who have been ostracized in society. Friends, as we celebrate Christmas this year, we are all conscious that many of our people suffer due to the economic crisis that we are experiencing. Therefore, there is a lot of anxiety and fear based on economic reasons when we look at the future. And what does Christmas mean to such people who live in misery and without hope? I believe, firstly, Christmas is all about sharing. Sharing not what we have in abundance, sharing not because we want to get name or a reputation for ourselves, sharing not only during the season of celebration, but sharing that which we have as precious to us, giving to another so that we all can rise together in unity. So the sharing that comes during Christmas season is not limited to a particular period, but it is an ongoing lifestyle that we are called to. In sharing, we build up the community. In sharing, we hold our hands to rise. Christmas also calls for a question about the lifestyle that we live. Therefore, we are called this season to lead a life in a simple way so that others also may survive, that others' needs also may be met. And therefore, the ideal way of celebrating Christmas is to share what we really possess, what we really and dearly hold on to us, not only during this season, but right throughout in the coming year, so that we all can hold hands and come out of this misery through self-sacrifice and adopting a simple lifestyle so that everyone's basic needs will be met and that our greeds will cease to exist. And therefore, my friends, our wish and our prayer is that this Christmas season will lead to a season and a new year of sharing and upholding those who suffer due to the economic plight in our country. May God bless you all.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of AdaDerana First at 9. Stay in touch with us on www.adaderana.lk for the latest developments around the clock. Thank you. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit AdaDerana.lk.